What's happening right now could change everything for Asia. After 7 years of silence, the world's two most populous nations are about to sit down together again. Xi Jinping and Narendra Modi, the leaders of China and India, are meeting at one of the most critical moments in recent history. And here's the kicker. Trump's tariff war might have just pushed these former rivals into each other's arms. The stakes have never been higher. Picture this. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi talked trade with his Brazilian counterpart and is expected to head to China for the first time in 7 years in August, just as the Trump administration imposed a 25% tariff on India on 7th August, followed by a further 25% that is set to go into effect on 27th August. Coincidence? I think not. As one expert puts it perfectly, President Donald Trump's latest trade war may be achieving the unthinkable, pushing India and China into a wary but tactical embrace. The border issue. An ancient problem, modern solutions. Now, let's address the elephant in the room. That 4,000-kilometer border dispute that's kept these nations at arm's length. Recent tensions between India and China have focused on their unresolved border dispute, particularly in the Galwan Valley and other areas along the line of actual control, LAC. But here's where it gets interesting. Listen to what Singapore's former Foreign Minister George Yeo said in a recent CNN News 18 interview on August 9th, 2025.
And if you think about it, Russia and China has a longer border than India and China. And it led to war. Now it's completely settled because when bilateral relations improve, the scraps of territory here and there, they didn't matter much. And between India and China, these are very desolate areas, where the oxygen level is very low. So what if I give you a few more kilometers or you give me a few more kilometers? So I think eventually, if bilateral relations are better, people will be more willing to give and take.
Learning from Vietnam, the pragmatic approach now, here's where Kishore Mahbubani, the legendary Singapore diplomat and geopolitical analyst, dropped some serious wisdom. During the height of the Ladakh conflict in 2021, when an interviewer asked how India could trust China enough to join trade agreements while they had border disputes, Mahbubani said,
I want to mention India's problems with China are serious but fairly recent. Vietnam has been a neighbor of China for 2,000 years.
Right.
Vietnam was occupied by China for 1,000 years. Vietnam fought a war with China more recently than India has. There were at least 500,000 Vietnamese soldiers fighting 500,000 Chinese soldiers in the 1979 war. India has not had that big a war, right? Until 1979, one of the most heavily militarized borders in the world was the Vietnam-China border. You want to talk of difficulties with China? Ask the Vietnamese. Now, fast forward today.
Yeah.
Which country is the number one trading partner of Vietnam? It's China. And
Right.
by the way, Vietnam claims that China is occupying islands that belong to Vietnam in the South China Sea. I'm telling you all this because in geopolitics, if you think there's a perfect black and white solution, there's no such thing in geopolitics. You have to learn to live with imperfections. So the Vietnamese are obviously very unhappy with what China is doing in the South China Sea to them. But at the same time, they want to grow their economy. And they said, okay, I'll put this aside. I'll focus on growing the economy. So one thing about Indians is that they expect the world to be black and white. It is not black and white.
This is realpolitik at its finest. Sometimes you've got to compartmentalize. Keep your disputes in one box and your economic interests in another. The Xi-Modi dynamic. Mutual respect between giants. When asked about Xi Jinping's mindset toward India, Mahbubani revealed something fascinating.
But I can tell you that Xi Jinping really wanted to work out a long-term understanding with India. And I can tell you that I'm pretty sure that Xi Jinping has a lot of respect for Prime Minister Modi, genuine respect. And I think that's why the two of them were able to get along each other. And you're right when you say that Xi Jinping is a strong leader, but I would say that Narendra Modi is also a very strong leader in India. So it's not a case of a strong leader against a weak leader. There are two strong leaders here, Xi Jinping and Modi. And
Think about it. We're not talking about one dominant power bullying another. These are two confident leaders of ancient civilizations, each bringing their own strength to the table. The Wuhan spirit. Can it return? George Yeo reminds us of better times.
Cast your mind back before 2020, when Xi Jinping went to Ahmedabad and Modi went to Xi'an, and they spent a few days together in Wuhan. And after that, they met again in Mahabalipuram. It was a different mood then. I think that mood can be recovered. And I look forward to Modi's visit to Tianjin, to China at the end of this month. I think a lot of preparations on both sides have been made. And I see relations getting better. Partly because the geopolitics confronting India and China require this relationship to get better.
What this means for all Asians. Let's be real. This isn't just about China and India. When you're talking about nearly 40% of the world's population and some of the fastest growing economies on Earth, their relationship affects everyone. For Southeast Asia, it could mean more balanced regional dynamics, instead of being caught between competing powers. For East Asia, it could mean more stability and less pressure to choose sides. For the Asian diaspora worldwide, it could mean a stronger, more united Asian voice on the global stage. George Yeo puts it perfectly.
There's no danger that relations will get so good that it threatens other powers. There's no reason for this standoff today. And it's not good for India, and it's not good for China, but worse for India.
yeah.
What do you think? Could this be the beginning of a new chapter in Asian geopolitics? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into the stories shaping our region.